Okay, so talking about Learning Ally, remember that it is an online resource for finding books that are audio for them to be able to listen to instead of struggling through reading. So I'm going to show you today how to put that onto your iPad and then how to use it. Okay, so you're going to click on Safari. You're going to click up here and you're going to enter Learning Ally.org /link. Hit go. It's going to take you to a page with Learning Ally. Here are the options for downloading link. If you're using your iPad, it would be this one. Chrome Web Store is an option. Putting it on your computer, Windows PC, or if you have a Mac, this would be the one that you go to. So we're going to go to the Apple App Store. Here's our download. So we're just going to click and download. It's free. Okay, so as you go back out, you'll be able to see that your app is here. You'll click on the app. It'll open up with a username and password. So I gave everyone a paper that had their username and password on it. So you would go to that page and find their username and password. Click on username. So I'm just going to enter Nathan's. Go to password, and this is the name is their first name and it's their lunch number. Then their password is their lunch number also. That way it's easy for them to remember. They use it every day. You're going to click on Get Started. It's going to come up with all of the books that are in his library. Right now he has a lot of books that are in his library. He uses it a lot at home on his other iPad. Here you can see, you can scroll down to see all of his books that he has downloaded on to his library. So if you want to read one of the books that are on here, you would hit the arrow. It's going to download the book onto your iPad. Takes just a little bit of time. And then you're going to see a play button. So you're going to hit play. Down here you have the options of playing it. This is a classic audio book, so this is not going to have any text along with it. It is going to be a human person that is reading it, but they won't be able to follow along unless they have a copy of the book that they're following along with that they've either checked out of the library or that you've given them. So they would just hit play.
Antarctic Adventure. Exploring the Frozen South.
About this RFB&D Audio Plus book.
So it's going to tell you a little bit about the book. They can skip this part. Just hit the two arrows.
Page 1. A note to parents.
Again, not something they're interested in.
Page 2. Contents. Going to Antarctica. Page 4.
So it's going to tell them the table of contents.
Page 4. Going to Antarctica. Lumps of ice the size of refrigerators.
So here's the beginning of the story.
The ship's sides. An iceberg looms like a lonely island.
So that's one example of them just listening to the story. Again, there's nothing for them to really look at on the iPad. There are some other options. If they click here, they can speed up. If they thought that the person was reading too slow, they can make it faster. If they need to slow it down to understand what they're saying and comprehend it, they can make it slower. This would be to rewind just 30 seconds back. So they would hit that if they just want to go back a little ways, or they can go back by the page by clicking here.
Page 2.
Okay. When they're finished with that, they would click the arrow up here, and it's going to take them back to their library. Okay, so they're back to their library. So if you see underneath here how it says classic audio, that again is a human reading it, but no text. Here it says voice text with an H next to it. So voice text with an H next to it is, again, a human reading it. H stands for human. And it does have text along with it so that they can follow along. So you can see that it'll tell you underneath each one. Sometimes you'll see one where there's a voice text with an S next to it. That means that it is a synthetic voice, but it does have text with it. So we'll download one of those so that you can see that. And it takes a little bit for it to download. Then you're going to see a play button. You'll hit play.
Because of Winn-Dixie.
So you can see now there's text available. They're going to want to skip these first few pages.
Page 5. Page 6.
So they can start the story.
Page 7. Chapter 1. My name is India Opal.
You'll notice that it highlights the words that they are reading.
A box of macaroni and cheese, some white rice, and 2 tomatoes. And I came back with a dog.
Sometimes this will also include pictures. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on the story. But a lot of times they will have pictures along with the story if there's a picture in the actual book. This book obviously does not have a lot of pictures. All right, if you are reading and they want to stop and they want to remember where they were at so that the next time they can come back to it, up here in the corner is a bookmark with a plus sign. They would click on that, and this is going to put a bookmark in this place. The cool thing about this one is that they can add notes. So if you wanted them to do this during a daily 5 time where they're reading and you want them to stop and jot, this is a great way for them to do that. Every page they could stop, make a bookmark, and jot down what they thought about this story, what was happening in this part of the story. So this is a great way. They would just click on add notes and they would just type in the notes that they want to say about that page. And then when they're done, they would hit save.
Here, boy.
And it's going to go back to their story. All right, if you click this little arrow right here, you're going to see there's some other options down here. These are the same ones that you saw on the page before we clicked there. This one is going to have a table of contents, page groups, so they can skip to where you want them to be. Here is a copy of their notes and the bookmarks that they made. So if you as a teacher want to go back and read their notes, you can log in as them, go to the story that you were having them read, and you can see the notes that they chose to write about the story. I'm going to go back, hit here again. This last one here is font. So you can change the font size from smaller to bigger. So you can see how it got bigger. The next thing that it can do is it can change the background and the color of the font. So maybe they want to change it to a black background or a gray background versus the white and black. Also, when it highlights, right now it's on yellow, but they can highlight in pink or blue as well. This gives them some options on what's more comfortable for them. And they can change that per book, however they would like to do that. So those are the options for how to use Learning Ally once you have books. But what if you open yours and there are no books on it? So let me show you how to get books. You would come over here to this little person, add books, and it's going to take you to the online version of Learning Ally. Here again, you're going to see all of my son's books that he's downloaded. They're all here on his bookshelf. We'll go to Browse Audiobooks, and here's where you're going to search for specific books. They can just do a search for a keyword. I've found that that's not always successful. but they definitely can try. If you know a specific book that you want them to read, or they know a specific book that they want to download, you can enter that specific title. So here's a book, The Panda Puzzle, that I may want to read with one of my reading groups. And I want my dyslexia student to be able to read along and have some time, maybe at home or maybe during a specific reading time during class, so that he has or she has a chance to read the story. So you would go here to the empty box. You're going to type in the name, the Panda Puzzle, and you're going to do a search. So it's going to come up with, here's our story, The Panda Puzzle. Picture looks a little bit different, but it's the same story. Over here is where you would add to bookshelf. Notice that it's a voice text with an H, so it's going to be a human voice reading it, and there is going to be text along with it. So you would click on Add to Shelf. It's going to say that it's adding, and then it's going to tell you that it added it to the shelf. So you would then go back to Browse Audiobooks. It's going to take you back to your search. So again, if you want to search for another book, that's exactly how you would add. There are some options of categories. There's 4 different categories. So if you just want voice text books, this would be where you would go to. Subjects, there's several subjects here. If you show more, there are lots of different subjects that you can search under. Some of the books are going to be way too hard for them. They're high school and above, so beware of those things. You can also go to grade level and search. So if I wanted to search for 2nd grade, this is where some of your textbooks are going to come up. So here's a spelling one, and you'll have to look specifically for your curriculum and what it's called. Okay, so here's a math one. If you have triumphs, here's a spelling. You can search for more. You can even, up in the search bar, you can even search specifically for the name of your textbooks. And supposedly all of our Texas textbooks are supposed to be on here. So you should be able to find those. If you're reading a story in class and they miss it, then they could come here to their textbook. If you have trophies, they would click on there and it would give them the story that you're looking for. You can see here there's all different things. Sometimes it does not show us an image, and sometimes it does. It just depends on the book. A lot of times when it's classic audio, it might not show. Sometimes it does. So this is how you would add books to their library. Once you've done that, you would go back to Learning Ally, and you're going to click on Update My Books. So this is going to update the book that we just added, the Panda Puzzle. So sometimes it'll be right here at the beginning, and sometimes it will be in alphabetical order. So here's our one that we wanted to read. So we would just click the down arrow. It's going to put it up here at the top. It's going to download it, and then we're going to play it. So again, they would be able to make notes as it reads. They're going to skip the first few pages, being careful about what they're skipping. They can also scroll. So here you can see a picture that was in the book that they've put into here. You can see they're actually showing the inside of the book. And here are the words that they can follow along with. And it's going to highlight the ones that they're currently reading. So these are the things that you will need to know on how to use Learning Ally in your classroom on your iPad.